On today's episode of the Art of Business podcast, we talk to the creative director and editor for 337 Magazine, Elisse Neilson. We talk about her plans for the magazine and what it's like returning home after being a working actress in LA for several years. And we also talk about why she left the industry and so much more. Some really exciting stuff that she's trying to get into with a potential travel show around Acadiana. Really good conversation. We'll also let you know about some great music you can check out around Lafayette this weekend. We have that and more, but first, let's show some love to our title sponsor for today's episode. Once again, Quality of Life Services. Now, there are countless reasons why someone might require home care, and knowing exactly what they need can sometimes be confusing and difficult to understand. Quality of Life Services is here to lay your concerns to rest. By engaging with vetted, independent caregivers, you can get back to enjoying the time spent with your loved ones without carrying the burden of also being a caretaker. You know, sometimes situations happen. You have an older family member, you get the burden of having to be the caretaker. And with Quality of Life Services, they pair you with all kind of, medical personnel, people who can just go cut grass, fix stuff around the house, anything that can take the burden off of you and allow you to get back to spending quality time with your loved ones and improving their quality of life as well. Call Quality of Life Services today for a free consultation. 337-988-0076. That's 337-988-0076. Quality of Life Services. Cherish the past, redefine the present, get excited about your future. All right, let's hit it.
You are listening to the Art of Business podcast presented by Acadiana Cast, the show that spotlights our diverse local culture and provides business development and resources to enhance our creative economy. Here's your host. He likes long romantic walks to the bar, Carter Semino.
Thank you for tuning in to the Art of Business podcast, part of the Acadiana Cast Network. Visit acadianacast.com to find more locally sourced content. I'm Carter Semino, and today's episode is presented by Quality of Life Services. Cherish the past, redefine the present, get excited about your future. We're going to get into Elisse in just a little bit, but first, let's tell you about some great music happening around Lafayette this weekend, or this week as well. If you're listening to this the day it comes out. Wednesdays, folks, don't forget, Wednesday, November 9th, Sarah Russo and Dustin Gaspar are at Bon Ton Grill, otherwise known as Sarah and Dusty. Great musical combination, old soul, some new stuff. Dustin just got nominated for a couple Grammys. And great food, of course, at Bon Ton. Thursday, November 10th, it's one night only with Malentina. Let me read you about this real quick. It says, a dazzling one-woman show including original music, storytelling, and big band Latin classics featuring the Lafayette's own Puerto Rican actress and singer, Malentina. It's like $10 at the door at the Grouse Room. I'm sure that's going to be a heck of an event. If you want to go out on a Thursday, start the weekend a little early, perfect place to go do that. Friday, November 11th, it's open mic night and Cow Island Live pre-jam. Now, Cow Island Live is the following weekend. Nice little concert or festival that we'll tell you about next week more. But this is the pre-jam featuring Mike Larson and the Ones That Got Away, Jackie Lynx, and Gabe Verrett. Saturday, November 12th, Mid-City Maven will be at Hideaway on Lee, another Sarah Russo project. Sarah, this is, if you ever are listening to this is your call out to get on the podcast. Tired of trying to hunt you down. We're going to get you eventually. But go see Mid-City Maven. They opened up for Wayne Toops last week at Rhythms on the River, and I heard it was just a fantastic performance, as they always are. Great music, great harmony. Sunday, November 12th, Gino Delafosse and French Rock and Ducey will be at Rockin' Bowl. So that's going to be some nice fun Zydeco on a Sunday afternoon over at Rockin' Bowl. Now, if you have an event that you'd like to promote, be it a concert, art show, workshop, be sure to email info@acadianacast.com. I'd love to show some love and bring attention to your show. Now, let's hear before we get to the interview with Elisse Neilson, let's hear from one more of our sponsors. That is the Upper Lafayette Economic Development Foundation. They represent local businesses and homeowners working together to develop Upper Lafayette's economy and improve the lives of the people who live here. The ULEDF is a foundation for community progress. They provide support for various community leaders and organizations in order to coordinate efforts to create opportunities for community and economic development. ULEDF will drive economic development through a community support approach. You can elevate your business network by attending an Upper Lafayette Business Networking Power Hour every second Monday of the month at Jefferson Street Pub before the monthly Blue Monday Jam. November 14th is the next one, so come on down, listen to some great music, start socializing a little bit, meet some other business members who actually give a damn about the community and the people who live here, and learn all about both ULEDF, Blue Monday, and of course you get to see the Blue Monday All-Stars, the best band in the land. Upper Lafayette will thrive, our businesses will thrive, our community will thrive. Please visit upperlafayette.com to learn more. Your support and involvement will make it possible. Now, without further ado, Elisse Neilson. Elisse Neilson.
Hi.
Here at the Acadiana Cast Studios for the Art of Business podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, first off.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, normally, I've been interviewing just a bunch of musicians, and so typically I play one of their songs, but you have a different background.
I do. I don't have any songs, but I do have a lot of footage.
Yeah. I was going to play a clip from one of your stuff, but I don't know with copyright things if I could play it or not. But the one that I wanted to play was where you played, was it Angry Hot Girl?
Oh.
In New Girl?
Lovely title.
Yeah. Is that a title that they give you beforehand, or is that you see it in the credits, like, oh, okay, that's...
It's so funny when, the process of casting breaks down, they send out, a role description. It's always evolving and changing, so you never know. But I was pretty angry that day and went in and read and got the role. It was pretty interesting because I don't think a lot of people understand the process where maybe thousands of submissions will be received and then they only see 11 girls, and then from there you have to go network. So producers have to approve you. In this case, Sony or Fox has to approve you, and then there you go. So it's quite a process, but it was a great experience.
Was that the first episode of New Girl? Was that the pilot?
That was not the pilot. That was the first episode of season 4.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
I just saw episode 1, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, no, it was Jessica Biel was in that episode, so it was fun. It was a good time.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you born in Denver, but grew up down here, right?
Yeah. So my family's from Colorado, and then I was born in Denver, and my parents moved here when I was 4. So I essentially grew up here, but it's interesting because not with Southern parents, right? So when I went to Los Angeles in 2005 for 15 years and came back because of COVID, it's like, getting to know the culture and the area for the first time. It's kind of trippy, but it's awesome.
Yeah. So how long were you a working actress?
Probably about a decade. And then just kind of realized I didn't love it anymore.
Yeah, you told me over the phone that you fell out of love with the industry.
I did. It's the politics. There's a lot of darkness in the industry. And I just didn't feel like my message was getting where I wanted. I mean, some of the best experiences I've had were producing my own content and writing and creating, and that's what's so fun about LA is everyone out there is doing the same thing and they want to create. And unfortunately for casting or for agents and managers and shows, you need to be on co-star, guest star credits. So as you keep building these small roles, which is great, everything's a stepping stone. First it was New Girl and then it was Lifetime, and then I did actually an HBO pilot with David Fincher, which was insanely scary and amazing, but it didn't greenlight. So you can shoot these, 4 episodes and you're like, okay, this is it. And then it didn't greenlight. And then the industry changed and it was about followers, not about talent. And I was like, I don't know. And so I had to kind of take a big step back and like, what do I want my voice to say? What is my message? And what's next? And that's where travel writing came in. So
you started just traveling the country and writing about it, or like how was that work?
So the great thing about being in California is, 2 hours away you're in Palm Springs, 2 hours you're in Big Bear. You can so many beaches to explore, hiking trails.
There's so many different environments in California.
Crazy. So you really can have each little town or city is a completely different story. So I kind of started there. But then was able to get a column on Community's Digital News, which is a pretty conservative platform. And they let me write about whatever I wanted. And so I just started, interviewing hotels and their, culinary cuisine, their chefs, and got to go to Scotland and London
Wow.
and Canada and, of course, all around California. But I thought what was really interesting was finding, like, my voice in that, which was who are the people behind the scenes? That's the magic. And getting lost in their story and trying to find a different angle than just your ABC. This is the hotel. This is how many rooms they have. This is what they offer. And really highlighting what's special and magical about these places. So Scotland was...
So were you like an avid traveler before you started writing about it?
Not really, actually, which I have to credit my ex-boyfriend, who is a Canadian, was a huge traveler because he worked for the Canadian government and got to live all over the world. And I was held hostage in Los Angeles by my team. You can't book out. If you book out, you're going to get an audition. And so I was held hostage for 13 years, I think.
Wow.
And when I kind of decided, you know what, let's go to Mammoth. Let's go, to Palm Springs. Let's go to Temecula. Let's do San Diego. And I just started to get addicted to it. And it was just so fun, getting lost in these little towns and putting your feet in the water, getting grounded. And that's where it just kind of triggered and started from there. It was just needed to do more and more.
So you gained a lot of experience doing that. And then during the pandemic, you moved back here and were looking for work, I imagine.
Yes. So COVID, March 2020, it's like crazy in LA, No one's got toilet paper, and there's hour-long waits in the grocery stores. And then it's, on top of that, torrential downpour. And it doesn't rain in LA, so when it does, it's like very apocalyptic,
The LA River overflows.
Oh my God, everything, and the trash cans flying
Which,
down
by the way, for those who aren't aware of, there's lots of waterways around South Louisiana. Explain what the LA River is to those who don't know.
Oh, it's a concrete river.
It's like a coulee.
It's a coulee. There you go. That's a great word for it. It's a coulee. It's runs right through, and it's graffitied. And I think the most recognizable is probably Grease when they're driving up the sides. That's the one that sticks out the most. I actually did a photo shoot there once, and it was horrible, but awesome at the same time. So everything was just overflowing, and when I heard National Guard, I was like, okay, we're coming back home. And I stayed here till about July and was like, okay, this is the final straw. So let's go back, ship everything out back here, and the rest is kind of history.
So you went to high school here?
I did. I went to Como High.
Como High.
Yes.
Ove Como.
Mm-hmm.
And where did you go to college, or did you just went straight to LA?
I went straight to LA right out of school, 2005, and hit the ground running. I was very thankful. I don't think people understand about LA is, if you have work ethic, you'll go very far. There's a lot of people that do not have work ethic. So I started, working full time. I transferred actually with Abercrombie and Fitch back in the day, and did a lot of visual remerchandising for them, and then crossed over to Mac Cosmetics and was able to build like a really lovely business resume just from work experience. And I'm very thankful for that, and was able to eventually transition into just full time working in entertainment.
Well, then, so you're here. What led you to 337 Media?
Like you said, I was just kind of looking for work, trying to find my place back home, and reached out to them because I had written an article about Louisiana not just being New Orleans. And
amen to that.
Yes. And Eric, the owner of the magazine, was like, let's talk. And I had all these ideas where I wanted to mesh, my entertainment background with my travel writing background and just create something really cool here. And it just worked out beautifully. And my end goal is I'd love to have a travel show, a very female-driven Bourdain, because, like I said, it's addicting to get to go do these things and talk to people and sit by yourself and not be afraid to say hi. And I've met the most incredible people since I've been back. And I think one of the things you asked me is, what have I been enjoying about being back here? And I just think it's really a different level of Southern hospitality because people are interested. They're curious. They want to talk. They want to get to know people and learn their journey, and it's just been so great. And taking over as creative director of 337 and making something beautiful, I want to show what I'm experiencing. And as I call myself kind of a local tourist, like growing up here but not growing up in the culture, like I've had crawfish like maybe 5 times. So
we need to up those numbers.
I know. It's just been so special, like getting to know Maison Madeleine and Lake Martin and the beautiful, cuisine and culture. And And just the people here, the growth has just been insane. I mean, Youngsville was a village when I left.
Right.
And I had to take Fortune de Vera to get to Como, and now it's just so impressive to see.
Yeah, Youngsville's absolutely. I mean, I've only been here 10 years, and even my time in 10 years, like it's grown so much.
It's so crazy, but it's magical. And I think what's been so fun is as I'm getting to know people here, I'm introducing to things that they didn't know about, and they've been here the whole time because you get in your bubble, right? So it's been so fun to discover these local businesses and restaurants and meet the chefs and meet the mixologists and just learn their story and then introduce it. It's fun to see someone like, I didn't know that.
So 337 Magazine, from my experience, it's one of those local magazines that you see in like doctors' offices and different businesses and whatnot. So what are you trying to do with it to make it bigger and better?
Yeah, so of course everyone knows 008 and 337 were always, like you said, dropped off everywhere. And before I came on board, they decided to go digital. And of course everyone's on their phone now and no one really reads. So I was like, let's do it. Let's go digital, full digital, interactive. And I'm trying to tell stories from the locals to the locals and introduce everything digitally. So I have video. Everything is linked back to your website and social media. But my big goal is I wanted it to not look like ads. I want to actually give this area, something that it's deserving of. It's local businesses. It's our joie de vivre, our culture, cuisine, art, music. I have one restaurant and one artist. And it's just painting their picture and their story in words and giving local businesses a chance to have an article where I get to sit down with them and talk to them, like, what makes you different? What sets you apart? What do you want your future customer or client or guest to know? And it's been really special to see them light up and read their articles about something they've created, because everyone, like I said, it's back to the people. Who are these people? And I want to give the businesses a chance to have a voice, and I want to give the locals a chance to get to know their businesses and also fall in love with people I've fallen in love with. Dana Manley, my first artist, she just was so magical, and to get to interview her was almost like I needed to talk to her as much as I wanted to interview her. She just opened my eyes on so many beautiful things, and Major Handy, and connecting with Colby Hebert and Tate Martin, and now they're all best friends. They're doing stuff all the time, and I'm not even getting invited. But it's so fun.
Oh, the hell.
I know. They did a boat tour, and I haven't done one yet on Lake Martin, and so thanks for the invite, guys. But no, they're so special. Just to see, in all the different age brackets, so to see them now just hang out all the time is incredible. It's so fun to connect people.
Well, I like what you said about, making your ads not feel like ads. That's something I'm kind of aiming for with Acadiana Cast. Yeah, I have a couple of like traditional podcast ad reads, but I want to bring businesses in so, talk about their business, but like about a minute, maybe a minute and a half, but make that the ad instead with them actually talking about it in, in the podcast setting.
Exactly.
And because I totally agree with you. Like, I think just storytelling rather than trying to sell something, I think ultimately is the better sell.
Yeah, it's connection, right? You get to know the person, you get to know the business and their passion. And as much we're pushing shop local, how do you know what their story is if you don't ask? And it's awesome that you're giving them a different platform.
Yeah.
Some businesses like, I don't want my picture, or I don't want it to be about me. So it's fun to cater to what makes them comfortable.
Exactly.
So I'm sure you'll hit some roadblocks there. But
yeah, I imagine.
But it's so great. It's innovative, right? Everything's new, and we're trying to open new doors and just help people grow.
So you said that the film business, TV business and whatnot, all Hollywood, it became more about followers. But now you need followers.
I know.
So,
but it's different. It's like, this is something, you need followers to have this reach and be read and allow this platform to be seen and be successful. When you're in entertainment and it's about followers, it's because they're lazy. Agents and casting, they want it already handed to them on a silver platter, and it's not about talent, and that also sacrifices the quality of their work. So you're on this little teetering stool, like, what's worth it, And but yes, now I'm in the world of followers, but I'm okay with it because the content gets the followers,
right?
Not vice versa.
Yeah, I'm traditionally terrible at social media. I don't like. It's one of the reasons why I got into podcasting. When I was on the news, and I didn't like these small little quidbits. I think human beings need more context. I have like a major story. I had like a minute 30 at most to tell the whole story. But when it comes to social media, you know, like if it's like a picture or a quick little snippet, it's still just a little bit of something. Like I like the long form. I like the full context. So it's trying to find that little balance. And I'm still learning, picking up new social media tricks and whatnot. You know, I didn't have a MySpace growing up. I wasn't allowed, but the first one I had, I think I got Facebook in 2008. And it's just been a battle ever since trying to
Facebook, Instagram. I've stayed away from TikTok, but I am one of those that watch TikTok videos on Instagram.
Yeah,
but not TikTok. But it's crazy. I mean, it's in a way, it's incredible to see the reach and the connection that people have. But I think that's one of the beautiful things that came out of COVID too, was seeing people outside and not glued to their phones, and you know, bike riding and walking and connecting to nature. And so it's this double-edged sword, right? It's like we need it, but how do we connect? And I think like what we're doing by getting to sit down and talk with people and tell their story and learn about them and then share it on social media, I think we're hopefully giving a little bit more.
Do you face this same issue? People in South Louisiana, for better or for worse, they aren't big on change. And that's something that, you know, I'm facing. Obviously, podcasting is still a relatively new medium. And just trying to just show people, hey, we're not replacing traditional media by any sense. We're just giving you a different option.
Exactly.
And just trying to put it out there. Do you have issues trying to kind of change the makeup of magazine to digital?
I think so. Well, yes and no. It's interesting because people will say, oh, well, we like 008 and they're amazing. They do great work. But I'm like, well, what do you like about it? Mm-hmm. And they can't really give me a direct answer, but it's tradition. It's always there. They grab it. They might flip through it. They throw it somewhere. But I'm like, what businesses have you reached out to? You know, what's a story that stands out? But by putting it in your hand and get to create something larger where you can scroll and click, something you're comfortable with in the format of Instagram or Facebook, I think they're slowly coming around, because it's when you ask these questions and you can change the narrative, it's like, okay, maybe she's right. And I just try to show as many people as possible, have them scan a QR code, you know, get right into the magazine, and they're just like, okay, I like this is doable. And I think with businesses, you know, being able to track how many clicks and hits that you get through issue.com or on Facebook, I think they like seeing that, and it shows them, you know, more of a reach versus with a hard copy. You can't track that. You can't tell how many people have reached out to you or come to your business because of this. So I think education, knowledge is power, right? So as long as we can continue to just make it user-friendly and adapt to what they're comfortable with, they're coming on board. They're coming along, slowly but surely.
Is a 337 app in the future?
I'd love to, yes. I'd love to have an app. It'd just be brilliant. So keep me in the loop if you if you have someone who wants to help.
Well, we got a very large computer science community here, so I'm sure we can find somebody.
Oh, I love it. Just to make it something so user-friendly, right? And just hand it right there. And, you know, the next issue that I'm working on is about the innovative businesses here and the innovators. And that's directly it. Let's make an app. Let's take it to the next level. I mean, COVID got us all adapted to QR codes, right? So that was really fun, getting to do that and see just how easy it is. And, you know, seeing, you know, the 70-year-old grandma come in at POR and scan the QR code.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, there's hope. There's hope here.
And also, I think between COVID and that Super Bowl commercial, where it, like, you know,
Oh my gosh,
you know,
yes,
like
I
that
remember
that DVD thing, if people would cheer if it hits the corner or whatever when you're a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did that, but with a QR code. And I always have a Super Bowl watch party. We call it the Super Boil, where we boil crawfish. I think we're at 6 or 7 now.
Nice.
But yeah, like everyone was over there. And everyone was like running to the TV trying to scan it. It was.
I forget where I was watching it, but no one really got it at first. I think I was sitting at a pizza place or something, and I was like, you know, and I was like, this is brilliant. You know, I think that's great. I think it's so neat, and I love it. I think the future is great. You know, getting to be able to tell stories is a very magical thing, and you know, with the first issue having that ability, it was very scary. I'm sure you're in that same boat. You know, starting something brand new is a very vulnerable feeling. Putting your voice attached to something.
Yeah.
And just hearing the feedback, you know, with Colby and Major and Tate and Dana, and just saying, oh, we were crying. I mean, my family read it and they were crying. And I think that's a good sign, because you're telling a story that's touching and meaningful, and hopefully can continue to grow.
Well, you brought something with you
Oh,
today, so you can probably put it right here and to this camera. Let's see.
It's a little large. I wanted to go big or go home. But yeah, so this is our first cover, and I wanted to do something very different. I wanted it to be very stoic, very Vanity Fair. We shot at Vestal, which of course everyone loves Vestal. Yep,
Still haven't been.
Oh my gosh, shame on you.
I know.
Shame. That team there is incredible. Actually, if you go into the issue, everything's linkable, so you can get right through the table of contents and take you into our Kitchen Mixology Chronicles. My incredible videographer, Matt Valentin, and I got a great 6 hours in Vestal and filmed about a 4.5-minute Kitchen Mixology Chronicles that looks like something out of Top Chef.
Wow.
He's insane. But it was so special to get to share their story. They've a team that's just killing it. And it's beautiful in there. Beautiful. You have to get a spot at the bar that's in front of the open flame kitchen. It's incredible. But yeah, we shot our next cover in Wild Child Wines.
Where's that?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to put this down because my arm's starting.
All right.
Wild Child Wines is downtown next to the blue, is it Blue Agave that's down there? Or Apache? Blue Agave, I think. And next to the fire station. I'm not good with names. So remember, local tourists didn't grow. I still have to map everything, GPS, everything.
Yeah.
And incredible. It's all small batch, sulfate-free, organic wine, but they have the most stunning vintage, just rock and roll spot. And they do tastings all the time, little pop-ups. Incredible group. The whole downtown, community is insane. Lagniappe Records, the Whisper Room. It's just been so fun falling in love with all these new places. But Wild Child Wines, I've had some of the most incredible wine, and it's small batch, so it's something you're not going to really find them in Rouse's.
Right.
Or even Total Wine. Mm-hmm. And if you love wine and you want some education, go tell them hi. And they have really great tinned fish.
Tinned fish.
Yes, canned fish. That's a big thing. I know. I had not sardines. What's it? Scallops.
Did you see my face on camera, Hannah?
Yeah, I was.
I don't know how I feel about fish in a can, but
I was so, they know what they're doing.
I got tuna in a can, I guess.
They explore, they get out there. I think they just recently got back from a trip, I think in Spain, so they have a big focus on Spanish wines right now. But it's just so cool. It's like just you asking, what's a Wild Child? I'm like, I don't know. I just found it, and now I'm in love with it. But beautiful place, and the next issue is a little bit more, like I said, innovative and edgier, and it was a perfect location to shoot. So I can't wait. Can't wait.
So 337, it's not just Lafayette Parish. You're trying to cover all of Acadiana?
Yes, all of 337. Which
Gotcha.
I'm slowly learning what's in my wheelhouse. But at the end of the day, it's like, why not keep growing? I'm introducing a travel section in this next issue that highlights different hotels along the Florida coast. And then also an incredible venue in Cancun, Live Aqua. Amazing, all-inclusive. So I just want to give, our area a chance to, okay, if you want to get out, everyone goes to Florida, but let's take it past us. Mm-hmm. And got to explore some beautiful hotels and bed and breakfasts all around the coast. And then also Cancun for those who have passports and want an all-inclusive experience. So I'm excited to kind of broaden it a little bit.
What I did last summer, flew into Fort Lauderdale. Then me and a buddy rented a pop-up van that you could sleep in and drove it all the way down to Key West.
Nice.
And that was absolutely beautiful until one of us, me, lost the keys to the rental unit. So sorry about that, Paul, if you're listening. And my parents, I think they helped pay for that.
Oh, gosh.
But
that's so funny.
that is a story for
Another day.
Yeah, another day. So you talk about, wanting to do like a digital travel show. Is that something like YouTube, or how do you envision that? Is it just going to be on within 337 the brand? How do you expand that?
I like to start here because it's been so special getting to explore and getting a little tour of New Iberia and learning about Napoleons and Clementines. Like, why can't we just film this and film these interactions well? Mm-hmm. And I'd love to start here, and then of course, expand and go international, but bring that to 337.
Yeah.
It'd be great to get, of course, the platforms like Netflix and Prime are amazing. But start here. Let's start local. Let's show it in the light that I'm getting introduced to it, and showing that to locals, and they get to see their area painted in this different light, and it's beautiful. It's very special. Like, I want to go on a boat tour on Lake Martin, so if someone wants to take me.
Yeah, my last name is Semino. We lived in South Louisiana all 28 years of my life. I've never been on an airboat.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll go.
Okay.
And then maybe we can film it.
We'll have to.
Or maybe we'll have to do.
It'll be loud.
It'll be loud. So we'll just
there's
press mute.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, I definitely envision it starting here and continuing to just highlight how special everything is and the people. And then, the potential is endless.
So, with you being inside, outsider kind of thing, do you ever get pushback from locals? Being like, oh, it's just a California girl just trying to come in and...
No, actually. I think it's
That's
ownership. Good. I think I come in very appreciative and open and wanting to learn and being so thankful for how welcoming everyone has been. So I think if you present yourself in a certain way, you won't get pushback because it's a labor of love, and I think people have been seeing the passion, and then after the first issue, they're like, okay, this is actually beautiful and brilliant. So I haven't really been getting too much pushback, but I don't really give the opportunity to allow it because I'm like, no, we're going to get on the same page, and everyone's just been so kind, and all ages. I've met so many people, 50 up, who have just been so welcoming and connecting me with my musicians and my artists, and they're just like, great, who's next? Who do you need next? And I think they're excited to see change. So not too much pushback, which I'm very thankful for.
That's good.
Yeah.
You still have friends in LA?
I do. I need to go back. I kind of need my closure because I left so abruptly, and it's great to see they're doing so well and having babies and moving around the state, and because California's a little different right now, and so I can see them allocating time elsewhere. But
a lot of people move in Austin.
Yes, there's been quite an exit. Texas, yes, Nashville, a lot of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Florida.
But so if you were to try and sell Acadiana and Lafayette to your friends back home, like what would be your pitch?
Well, like I said, Louisiana is not just New Orleans. And the beautiful thing about here is, yes, it's a little more spread out. You can't walk everything, but you will get to experience every part of Louisiana culture, from, getting to experience Lake Martin to the cuisine. And just the people are so different. They're so different here. New Orleans is a melting pot. But in a way, I feel like Lafayette is too, and we've got so much international cuisine coming in here. But I'd say this is where you're going to get a true taste of what Louisiana is.
So talking about the business side of what you do, when it comes to, do you guys, you might have said this, but do you guys still do the physical magazine too, or is it just digital?
No, digital.
What's the overhead difference between a physical magazine and digital?
Massive. So I think on average they were about $20,000 to print a hard copy, and that's because there's no subscription base and it's a free magazine. And that, of course, is why it has to look so ad-driven. And but then I kind of came in, and when it was already digital when I came in, but I'm like, why? I want to be like the Robin Hood and give businesses a chance to tell their stories at more of an affordable rate. And because it is digital and you aren't printing, there is a lot of leeway there. But I've met some incredible contacts recently that were trying to look to build some funding and grow and be able to start filming. So we'll see. But the overhead's completely different. And it's innovative and it's interactive. People are on their phones, so let's use the weapon in the hand,
And it more and more, there's more and more successful millennial-owned businesses who are more digitally driven and savvy and whatnot. But for maybe the older generations of business owners and whatnot, is it a harder sell?
I haven't really hit too many roadblocks. I'm trying to keep everything individual, so like one type of business per category in the issue. I'm not trying to oversaturate. I want to make sure that.
And what do you mean by that?
So say I'm interviewing a gym.
Okay.
I'm only going to have one gym. Or if I'm interviewing a dentist, I'm only going to have one dentist. And same with clothing. In my next issue, I have a female clothing store, and then I have a very different one, which I won't say, but he's incredible and so young and killing it. So I'm trying to not oversaturate and give each business a chance. It's not just about the quantity of how many businesses are in the issue. It's individuality and letting them shine.
So each issue, there's only one category of business. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase that.
I know, right? I'm trying Yes, like my next issue, I'm introducing little bundles. So I'm doing Local Business Spotlight Home. And so I have an incredible friend who's a realtor, and I'm introducing her lender, her lawyer, a builder that she works with. And just trying to start bundle like Local Business Wedding and just creating a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of fun to see people light up and see, okay, this is different. I like this. So it's not too hard to get them to come on board. It's just finding... I'm kind of a one-woman show, so it's a lot. I'm sure you get it doing this. It's a lot. And so it's not too much of a pushback, but I think the older generations they're ready, especially if they're business owners. They know it's like sink or swim time, and they're ready to grow and connect to the younger generations. So it's not been too bad, but we'll see. I'll let you know when I hit my first roadblock.
yeah, please do. I've already hit a few. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like, I mean, obviously the present and future is digital. And when it comes to marketing your business, I think things like your digital magazine, podcasts are the future of advertisement.
I agree.
But like you said, like not trying to make it not an advertisement.
Yes.
Telling a story about a business and gassing them up a little bit, you know.
Yeah, and it's so special to see them light up when I ask certain questions, and then when they get to read it back or hear it back and see how special. I keep saying special. I'm tired. How special they really are. And I think that's what's rewarding is you're helping. At least I'm giving and you're giving them a chance to be heard. And maybe that one little sentence that no one knew about them will say, hey, I'm going to go check out this business. And it's pretty cool.
What is the typical day like for Elisse Neilson?
Well, it depends how much sleep I get. But I am remote, so I'm floating around town. You'll find me all over Youngsville. Normally, I've got 3 bags. So I have my purse, my laptop bag, my camera bag. And I love to go sit on patios, or I love to sit in like Port or the Pond or Maybe's in Youngsville and just flip open the laptop. Whether it's coffee or wine, we'll figure out that time of day. And it's emailing, calling, interviewing, and writing. Lots and lots of writing.
So do you write everything in the magazine? Do you have ghostwriters? Do you have like other contributors?
I do. The first issue I was kind of very protective of it, and so I did do most of the writing. I have some incredible support systems, and I do have quite a few contributors in this next issue. The first issue, my mom is an incredible co-editor. It's kind of tricky because, I think most people who are writers, once it's written, it's done. You can't change it. So you need to almost have someone come check your work and edit and take out what you can't let go of. But yes, the next issue, I've got some great interns that came on, and kind of a younger group who's just got so much culture and passion here, taking on my Off the Beaten Path article. I have Brobridge, and then Arnoldville is going to be, my 48 Hours is Brobridge. Arnoldville is my Off the Beaten Path, and the wonderful woman who has written them it's so special to read because she grew up here and she's very young and so talented, and getting to see someone else be the local tourist, because it's like paint the picture of how you would want to say 48 hours in Brobridge. She did a great job. I can't wait to share it.
So that's the concept. It's you spend 48 hours in a town.
Yep. So the first one I did it as a local tourist with me. It was just my journey of getting to know Lafayette and Youngsville, getting back home. But now it's fun to introduce it from another person's perspective and give us a play-by-play of what to do in 48 hours. And she did a great job. So I'll have to see what the next one will be.
Well, let's play a little game and this is just for the 337 area, Acadiana and Lake Charles. And some people consider them Acadiana, some people don't, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. What would be, without saying, not Lafayette, but more of the smaller towns, what is your Mount Rushmore of small town Acadiana?
Goodness. I think New Iberia.
Yeah? They make the list?
I think so. I got to be one of the judges for the gumbo cook-off. And Chef Casey, who's the head chef at the Pond, was also judging, and he gave me and my mom this little mini tour of New Iberia, and I felt like I was in, New York, or it just for the historical element, getting to, learn about I think it was like a Tigerwood bar at Clementine's, and how it was shipped down the Bayou Teche to get here, and just the architecture and the historical landmarks, and walking through Napoleon's, and then getting a tour of the owner's home in Napoleon. it just was the spiraling of wow. And then I couldn't believe how many people were at the gumbo cook-off.
Have you been to Jane's?
I haven't been to Jane's yet. It is on my list.
It's for those who don't know. It's it's like South Louisiana seafood. It's like crawfish and crab and all that, but also Chinese, I believe, or some sort of Asian.
Oh, wait, are we thinking
cuisine.
So Jane's in New Iberia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I was thinking Jane's house in downtown.
No. Jane's in New Iberia.
I'll have to go.
Oh yeah,
Well,
you say you need more crawfish. Go down to Jane's.
Oh,
they got killer crawfish over there.
I'll have to check it out.
So what other small towns make the Mount Rushmore?
I'm still exploring, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think Arnoldville is adorable and so small, but I can't believe how popular it is. The brewery out there was so insane and fun, and I can't wait to highlight them.
The Tesh, Bayou Tesh?
Bayou Tesh,
Yeah.
yes, Bayou Tesh. But
Shout out Carlos.
yes, he's so sweet. He's so sweet. Got to do quite a fun tasting there.
Good pizzas.
Yeah, it was actually. And then the live music, you know, it's
Yeah.
just. But I have to say, personally, for me, it's Youngsville. It's Youngsville, but that's what I'm excited.
People from Youngsville love Youngsville.
I know, but
Nothing wrong with this.
I think it's
Town
just,
pride.
Yeah, it's grown so
Yeah,
much.
and there's just so much energy around that town.
Yeah, and there's so much potential. You know, I would just love to see this boutique hotel come in, something like the Culver Hotel. If you don't know, I've had probably about 5 birthdays there in Los Angeles. It's so Victorian and vintage and stunning, with a piano bar, and you know, I would just love to see a steakhouse, piano bar, cigar bar, something here, because Youngsville, they don't really want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to find the next Mount Rushmore. So I love people giving me, like, what would be your Mount Rushmore, so I can go check it out.
Well, I got a special place in my heart for Mamu.
I haven't been to Mamu.
Fred's Lounge over there. Every Sunday, it's like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. They have live Cajun music, and it's kind of a dingy bar, but it's just something about the band's roped off and people are dancing. People travel across the world to go to the Fred's Lounge.
Wow.
They'll have the Hotel Kazan there. I know the proprietor did some work in trying to get a reality television show off the ground for them. Hopefully sometime before when I was on the news, I did a story about these women who were digging up old cold cases, and they were having these conferences and trying to, Louisiana like leads the nation in unsolved murders. And so they were bringing people together, and it became almost like a support group meets like private citizen investigators. And so a buddy of mine started shooting like a sizzle reel, then getting production companies involved and whatnot. And I've kind of wiped my hands of it, and I get a little cut if it sells to like a Netflix or something like that.
Yeah.
But right now we're in the period where they're trying to sell it. And he told me that if it doesn't get sold by Thanksgiving, that Hollywood basically stops until the end of the year.
So they film like a trailer or
Mm-hmm.
a couple episodes?
Yeah. I think I made a sizzle reel and a pilot.
Okay. Nice.
And so trying to so hopefully that'll come
I'll
through.
have to check it out.
But so Mamu is definitely there, and I spent a lot of time in New Iberia. I dated a girl there for a while. So I do enjoy the Berry.
I think I heard that there's some massively high number of transplants from New Iberia in Youngsville.
Yeah.
So it's like the new Berry.
Right. Youngsville is the new Berry. But yeah, those and then I do love Brobridge.
Yeah.
What's that restaurant right on the highway there? Crazy About Crawfish, I think. Really awesome owners. Good crawfish. The Crawfish Festival, of course, is great. Have you been to any festivals since you've been back?
I did Festival International is when we launched this issue, and then I didn't get to check out Festival Cadian, but I've been. A lot of foodie festivals have been fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I did get to go see Wayne Toops last night. It was my first time seeing Wayne Toops play at Rhythms on the River.
That's right, he closed.
Yeah.
Were you there for the opener, Mid-City Maven?
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, Sarah
So
Russo
fun.
and her sister, and I think the other girl's name's Kate, the guitar player. I'm not sure. I should know that. I talk to a lot of musicians, but
They were.
And Wayne's of course is a legend.
I know. There was this guy that I saw play at the Barrel, James Dupree.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Incredible.
Where's the Barrel?
The Barrel is in Broussard, next to the Point.
Okay.
On Albertsons Parkway. Really cool spot. And he was playing. He apparently went on tour with Randy Travis to be his vocals because Randy is no longer performing, and he sounds incredible. And he doesn't just sing country, but I was blown away. The talent. He lived in Nashville, so of course You know? But the talent here with the musicians, so
Yeah.
I'm glad you're highlighting it, is insane. I think I forget who's playing at Port tonight, but I love them. And
Yeah, but you throw a rock anywhere in any direction around here, you'll hit a good musician.
yeah, it's been, I couldn't believe it. And then of course, you know, have you been to Gator Cove since Wildcat Brothers took it over?
No.
Okay, such a good time. So Wildcat Brothers, Tate Martin was on my first issue, and then David will be in my second. He's a distiller, and they took over Gator Cove, and they make incredible rum that actually, some of it tastes like bourbon. And they have an event almost every night of the week. And now they're, you know, growing their own garden, and they have great bands. They're doing a boudin brunch coming up on Sunday, and it's just a fun time. They have comedy on Fridays, Thursday night happy hour. They have a whole line of snake oil, which was an experimental process they did during COVID, where each month they wanted to launch a rum with a new flavor, like coffee or honey or king cake. And it's just so fun over there. They're just a good time, and it's a beautiful spot, huge. I think they're doing a market coming up on a Monday. And they're just setting the bar. Great stuff. They're working with Nashville. They have the Rockabilly rum. They just launched a rum with Nate Jr., I'm butchering it, Zydeco legend son. So it's just great, you know, and they are, they're become my people.
So that's on the that's
On the 90.
on the thruway.
On the thruway between, I guess, Lafayette and Broussard.
Okay.
And it's around the water, and lots of peacocks. No more gators, though. They got rid of the gators. But lots of peacocks.
Well, so when it comes to, I mean, we talked about this kind of briefly, but the business side of what you do, what's the biggest hurdle that you've found and that you're still actively trying to
I guess
jump over?
The biggest hurdle, I think, is just gaining more help with writing. That would be very helpful. But it's, you know, the biggest hurdle, I think, is funding, right? It's just trying to get that crowd seed start and get people to believe in you and want to see this grow, and also find a way to not overcharge a business, make it affordable for a business, but also salvageable for us to grow and give the people what they want. So I guess funding, really. But I'm really excited that the next issue, we had about 24,000 hits our first 2 weeks when we launched this, and that was just in the 2 weeks. The next issue, the businesses that are on board, the people that are on the cover have such a huge reach. So I'm really confident that after this next issue, that the light bulb is going to go off.
So you're using, whenever you're profiling a business, you're using their reach as well to help grow?
Yes, definitely. And it's been great. But it's also, you know, everyone uses social media, right? So a business will promote their article, and it all comes back to the magazine. So it's a win-win for everybody. But it's all numbers game, right? Everybody wants to know the number. And but that's just been the biggest hurdle. But it is and it isn't. I think after this next one, people will see. And they already are so excited. And like I said, the help that I've been getting and the promotion and lighting a little fire, you know, when I get to talk about it, people are excited and they're like, I want to be a part of this. So it'll work.
So 337 magazine, a digital marketer of sorts. Whenever you're trying to market the magazine itself, are you doing exclusively digital promotions, or are you doing any sort of physical things like flyers or?
Yes. So the first one, I had this idea to print the cover in 5x7, which I'll do 8x10 next time, with the QR code, and had it as much as I could get a reach, you know, in table tents and on windows, and scan it when you're sitting down at the hair salon, scan it when you're at Pour, scan it, you know, when you walk into CC's, and then this I bring around to events, the big one. But my goal for the next one is I want to print this size and have it on stands in front of restaurants, in addition to having it on like table tents. Because then, you know, say you walk in, you see magazine on the side, or you can scan 337.
Yeah, I have some ideas. Show I'm about to launch, which will be, I guess, the official flagship show of Acadiana Cast, will be Acadiana Cast Presents. And one of the things I want to do is like go to like festivals, get a booth, and then just, you know, interview people at these festivals. Yeah,
they were doing that at the Gumbo Cook-Off, and I was bummed I didn't get to go sit down and talk. But I think it's great, especially since you're so mobile.
Yeah, right.
So that'll be fun.
I might need a generator, but actually I think I have some. I have one from my tailgating days, which I haven't really wanted to tailgate UL this season, but
Never been tailgating at UL?
hey, that's a good sign. Like I'll tell you this. Obviously, people might get mad when I say it, but it's not like tailgating at LSU. It's obviously much smaller, but the welcomeness and the openness of people. You can walk from tent to tent, be like, "Hey, come get some of my jambalaya or grab a beer." You know,
I need to experience that. That's so fun.
They got a game on Saturday.
Oh, it's supposed to rain.
Is it?
100% chance.
Oh, dang.
Because I was supposed to judge a chili cook-off, and that got canceled. I was very looking forward to that.
Well, yeah, I'll have to play that by ear then. But there's also some big-time games I don't want to watch to support my degenerate gambling habits. So what's been the biggest adjustment for you moving back?
Gosh, the biggest adjustment is just
big city to small town.
Like, what do I do other than eat and have cocktails? That's kind of been the biggest adjustment. Because, in California, you could drive. I would go to Palm Springs. You can go for multiple hikes. You can go paddle boarding. You can go snowboarding if you wanted to in the same day. So I think it's adjusting back to the temperature, the climate, and then just trying to discover as I'm doing this what else is interesting here, what is fun to do, and get out and go on adventures. And I'm not really a swamp girl, and I don't fish. I definitely don't hunt, though I am very good at paintball.
Ah.
Oh, yeah. Had some good times in high school with paintball.
You are also a black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh, yes. I am. I'm a little rusty, but it has served me well over the years.
Did you do that so you can get combat scenes in shows and movies, or is it just an interest that you had?
It was. I was
self-defense.
Gosh, I was just looking at a picture. I was so little when I started. Parents put me in dance, and I heard them next door, and wanted to do that instead. So Brown's Taekwondo Academy, Mr. DeNova Brown, and they've merged since then, but 5 days, 2 days a week for like 5 years. I was very diligent.
Now, what's the past few years I've become like a pretty big UFC fan, so I'm learning all these different types of fighting styles and whatnot, like jiu-jitsu and Krav Maga. But what is the uniqueness of Taekwondo?
Taekwondo, if I were to do something again, I would love Krav Maga or Hapkido. Is what I really want to look into. But Taekwondo, it's just beautiful. It's not like the Tai Chi or, growing up, it's discipline. I was on a demonstration team, so it's a little bit more technical. The forms, the basic movements, it was like a dance, which I don't remember that. But as far as like reflexes, I think that's what I benefited the most from, and understanding awareness. So it's definitely, especially for little girls, it was just so fun and intimidating. But you just learn so much, and I think it prepped me for moving to LA, just to be aware of your surroundings. And but I definitely had a lot of fun, and it was helpful. I did do some combat scenes, so that did help.
Well, so when it comes to the future issues of 337, with this camera right here, businesses that you have not reached out to yet but are on your dream list, here's your chance to sell yourself in the magazine to them.
So this one?
Yeah, that camera.
Hello, 337. I just want to say thank you so much, 337, for letting me come into your world and tell your stories. And for someone who hasn't got to talk to me yet, please invite me in. And I'd love to get to know you and what makes you special and what sets you apart and what you want to share with your future people and our 337, and just bring some incredible businesses to light. So let's talk.
Do you have any businesses on your list that you want to feature?
I have so many I'm featuring. I can't give them away.
Mm-hmm.
I am trying to hunt down a wedding venue that's unique.
Okay.
And I'm working with an amazing florist that does weddings, so I'm trying to hunt down something a little different. But Maison Madeleine does these secret suppers, and they're also a wedding venue.
Secret supper.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to start doing them, so stay tuned.
What is a secret supper?
Secret suppers are really just what it sounds like. They're starting to pop up more, but Maison Madeleine does one where you don't know who the chef is going to be until it gets closer. They did launch their 2023 calendar, but it's this incredible experience where you get together at Maison Madeleine, which is on Lake Martin, and it's probably about 30 plus people are welcome to join. And Wild Child Wine pairs the wines with each course. You have a chef that comes in with their team from anywhere, I believe, in the country. And they create this 5-course meal. And I got to go with my mom, and it was the most, it's like you're sitting with these complete strangers under candlelight with Cajun musicians coming in, playing the fiddle and the accordion. And you just get to know these strangers and eat delicious food. It's a secret supper.
So going back to your first career in acting, do you see now that the digital age is here and the film industry is, it's blossoming in Louisiana, Georgia, obviously. It's not so isolated in California.
Right.
Do you see opportunities for, let's say, a young person here in Acadiana to have a successful career in acting without having to live in LA?
For sure. Everyone's definition of success is different, right? So there's tons of work that you can do independently without being a member of SAG, which is the Screen Actors Guild. Of course, you could work every day here. I'm seeing the performing arts community here, Wonderland Performing Arts, seeing all these, kids doing plays and adults, getting into the scene. The Performing Arts Center, Hyman Performing Arts. There's tons of work, especially in theater. And the independent, scene is great, especially through social media. I've actually followed a few where directors and filmmakers and actors can all chat and help each other out. But there is tons of work. But are you going to be getting a co-star on a network television show or a guest star on a network television show here? Not likely, because they will cast that, in Georgia, or if it's a show in LA, they'll cast there. But you can definitely grow. And if it's your passion, it's your craft, just write, create, get together. There's a huge community of filmmakers and have fun and play and grow and learn. So they definitely can.
Do you see yourself ever getting involved back in acting, whether it's just local theater or...
I've been getting asked that a lot lately. For the right project, yes. Something that would be meaningful, a story that I would really want to tell, something I would want to share. But I think my time is now on the other side.
Yeah.
But it is to have that voice and have that experience and get to work with the incredible directors that I have and the talent that I've been able to work with, I still want to bring that here. So whether if that's me working to direct something, and essentially I am with this magazine, labor of love child of mine, and but I think a travel show is where I'm ready.
Yeah,
I do, because it's...
And honestly, like I said this over the phone, but I love your perspective as someone who grew up here but left and is kind of now like rediscovering it. And these on your travels, your journeys, you get to. It's not like you're showing off something that it's something that you're discovering yourself, which is a really cool thing.
Thank you. It is. It is very cool, and it's crazy.
Because you know how to talk to these people, being from here and whatnot, but you have this. Oh, it's new, it's fresh, it's different.
It's so fun when someone's like, "Do you know this?" I'm like, "Nope. Send him my way. Let's go." My favorite was when I interviewed Major Handy at his house with his wife Frances, and they were just going down this list of musicians that if I was in the Zydeco community or blues community here, I would know. And they were like, "You don't know this?" And Major was like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "Major, I'm a local tourist. Be nice to me." But it's just so cool to learn everything. And I love seeing it in that light. And I think I wouldn't have been able to appreciate Lafayette and 337 if I wouldn't have left for 15 years and come back and see just the potential. And that's really just what I want to highlight, is there's so much potential here and there's so much passion here, and it's only growing. And I just want to give the area a platform that actually will showcase what they're doing.
Same here.
Yeah, we got this. We'll do it.
I mean, I grew up in Covington, so more the New Orleans area is what I know. But I just fell in love with Lafayette whenever I came here, and made a business with the region's damn name on it. So I'm tied here for a while.
I think I shot like a trailer for like a horror film in Covington before I left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I shot. I just wrapped shooting a horror film called Killer Kites. It's going to be on Amazon very soon, and Tubi. You can watch our other movie, Sewer Gators, for 99 cents on Amazon Prime. Actually, don't watch it, please. It's you'll think even lesser of me.
Sewer Gators.
Yeah, it's basically the exact same plot as Jaws, but set in South Louisiana, and gators go through the toilets and eat people by the ass, and
That's horrifying for sure.
We make like kind of super cheap like Sharknado type movies.
Hey, well, and Sharknado killed it.
Yeah, I mean, like 8 of them.
Yeah. So don't lose hope of your dream, guys. Just keep filming.
Yep. Killer Kite's coming out soon.
Goodness gracious.
So I'm reading your profile on IMDb. You were voted top 5 favorite indie actress for episodes 13 and 14 by WeLoveSoaps.com. Yeah. So I'm guessing that was for a soap opera.
No, actually, it was a web series that a friend of mine wrote and directed, and I got to kind of come on and be a little bit of a villain. Just kind of stir the pot a little bit. And it was just so fun. Again, people getting together in LA and wanting to create something, and it was fun to see the reactions of people liking Mara, who was just this horrible, manipulative woman who was trying to steal her man back from his best friend, and it was just so fun. I was like watching playback of it. I was just so annoyed at myself. I was like, she was just so horrible. But it was fun to play that, and create that character and give the people what they wanted.
Do you think there's people in LA who are working actors who spend so much time and money either going to film school or these different acting classes and all these different sacrifices you have to do to get noticed, only to have like a 15-year-old on TikTok have millions and millions of followers?
Yes.
It's
like the nails and the scratch. It is, and it's crazy. From on-camera intensive classes, to scene study classes, to shooting headshots, to your reels, editing, constantly learning. It's quite infuriating to go in and audition and get someone else who just has 1 million followers on TikTok.
Sorry, we're going with Charlie D'Amelio.
What is it?
Charlie D'Amelio. Am I saying that right, Hannah?
D'Amelio.
Yeah, okay.
Do I know that?
I think she's from here, isn't she? Yeah.
Well, at least she has that going. No, I will say there was this one, and because it didn't greenlight, I can talk about it. David Fincher shot this pilot about his kind of start. And for those who don't know David Fincher, he directed Seven and Gone Girl and The Dragon Tattoo. He was one of my top directors I wanted to work with. And it just shows you how crazy it is, which is why don't ever stop fighting and don't give up, because I was auditioning for just a small role. I was so mad because I wanted to read for the lead of that episode, which was Terry Nunn, who was the lead singer from Berlin, and my manager at the time, who I just don't think really likes actors, but he was just very good at his job. And I don't think he likes women either. This was a very love-hate relationship, but he was very good at his job. And I get this audition 80s out, and I would go see Steel Panther every Monday, which was an 80s cover band, and they're epic. And it was just the highlight of my week. But I was wearing my hot pink blazer and my leopard pants. I was just ready. I went in, did my little audition, and left because it was so basic. I was just so mad. And I get a call that the director wanted me to come in and read for Terry. And I was like, yes, that's awesome. Now, I didn't know that David was the director because they keep things pretty tight-lipped. When they do anything like HBO, a lot of times you're auditioning with sides or parts from a script that, aren't even involved in the project because they keep it pretty tight-lipped. But I get the call that I wanted to come in and read for Terry, so I had to learn the Metro song because it's a filming of kind of a thing. And I did this whole, lip singing and performing the scene with Metro, and I was so pissed because the DP kept saying I wasn't on time, like I wasn't syncing, and I was livid because I was like, I know, I'm got this.
It's like Avril Lavigne on SNL.
Oh God. Oh God, that's awkward. We watched playback, and it was perfectly fine. It just was the skip in between. Watching it live was not. So the casting director was like, don't be mad. We're good. Let's just get this take. And then I get a call that I got the role, and it was now going to be in multiple episodes, and it was for David Fincher. And it was just one of those surreal moments of like, finally. And we shot on the Red Studio lot, and it was crazy because multiple studios where multiple projects are being filmed, and I'm coming out, I remember, in my red dress with my big hair, and we're walking into the lot, walking into the soundstage, and they were filming The Hateful Eight at the same time. And so it was Sam Jackson and Kurt Russell and their fake snow and their big beards, and I'm walking by the coffee shop, and we're like, hey. And it's just the land of creating, right? And it was an incredible experience and an intimidating experience, but without that, you're not ready to go to the next step. So a lot of times for those who want to be in the entertainment industry, you'll get asked the question, oh, are you ready to go opposite of Meryl Streep or Brad Pitt? And you have to think about that, because it's quite an intimidating environment, because it's not just you and that actor. You've got rows of producers and cameras and multicam and sound team, makeup team, and extras. And they all stop if you make a mistake. And, you know, if I wouldn't have done New Girl, I wouldn't have been ready to do Lifetime with Rob Lowe. And if I wouldn't have done that, I would have not been able to handle being on set with David. And so I will say, just keep working, keep growing, and don't give up. And then, like I said, it didn't greenlight. So
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Like, how do you not greenlight HBO and David Fincher?
I know. Psychological thriller king. Is Rob Lowe as handsome in person as he is on TV?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know.
Yes. And so nice. I was so nervous because I was cast to play opposite of him and, you know, had to be slightly intimate. And it could have gone very different if he was not nice. And it was hilarious because I remember it was his wife's their wedding anniversary that day. And he was talking about her. And I was like, this is just so, it was hilarious. It was a wonderful experience. And he is very handsome and very kind.
Well, that's good to hear. They say don't meet your heroes, but I would love to meet him.
Oh, God, he was so nice, so fun.
So being a working actor, you know, you have become an expert in rejection.
Oh, yeah.
And for, you know, the art of business, you know, talking about creatives and treating their art like a business, you know, part of and anything in this world is rejection. So what would be your advice to somebody when it comes to your idea or just you as a talent being just rejected?
Just if you put in the work and you know that you've done everything right, you just have to own it. And if it's not right for that person, just move on to the next. And I had so many friends who, it is a very vulnerable, you know, you do an audition and if you don't get it, are you questioning, oh, did I do this right? Was this what I wanted to do? Is this what I trained for? Just do the work. If you know this is exactly what I plan to do, I worked hard for this, I trained for this, this is my pitch, this is my research, this is my mission, this is my business pitch, this is my pitch deck, you know, have everything prepared and just know that if you put in the work, the right person will come, the right opportunity will come, and just know that, of course, if you know, partied all night and didn't put in the work and then you go and have a horrible audition, that's on you, or a horrible meeting, that's on you. So just do the work and own it. You know, believe in yourself and know that your vision is there. You just got to find the right dot and don't let defeat take you out because, you know, you're worth it. You know, your idea is worth it. So keep fighting.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm so excited to see what type of content you're going to be pushing out. Hopefully that travel show comes to fruition.
Yes.
For anybody listening who wants to either get involved as a business or as just a reader, viewer, what's the best step for getting involved with 337 Magazine?
Definitely. So 337media.com has a magazine link. 337 Media on Facebook has the magazine up there. Elisse Neilson on Instagram and on Facebook. And feel free to email me at elisse@337media.com.
All right. Well, last thing we do here, you can take another look at that camera right there. Your piece of advice, I mean, you kind of just gave probably the best one, but it could be a word or a phrase about something to do with the art of business, just a message to anybody. It could be a specific person, a group, whatever it might be.
Gosh, I just say to anyone, one of my favorite quotes is, to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. And that was from Prefontaine, cross-country runner. I was a cross-country runner. And I use that as a closing in so many cases because it's true. Everyone has a gift. And to give anything less than it, you're sacrificing what you can give people and give to the community. And my other one is have courage and be kind, which is from Cinderella, because kindness is everything and kindness is free.
Well, that's it for this week's episode. Next week, we talk to the great and powerful Jonathan Williams, the executive director for Love of People and Upper Lafayette Economic Development Foundation. We talk about the progression of the Blue Monday mission that we kind of mentioned earlier before the interview, creating a better quality of life for creatives. It's kind of been his life work the past 10 years, what the art of business is really about, and so much more. The art of business is an initiative that he is creating and created, and the podcast is really just kind of just an extension of that. So we're going to get deep into what the art of business is. Of course, Blue Monday. John is a hell of a guy and just doing so much for our community, and just a great leader of people, and he cares about quality of life. Who doesn't like that? He also is the owner of Quality of Life Services, so if that gives you a little hint about things. In the meantime, please rate and subscribe to the podcast on whatever service you use to listen. Please make sure to follow Acadiana Casts on social media to help the network continue to grow. If you have ideas for the show, having a little trouble past couple weeks booking multiple guests in a row. People are busy this time of year, but yeah, if you want to come on, please send an email, or if you have an idea for a guest, send an email to info@acadianacasts.com. Acadiana Casts with an S. Don't forget that, folks. All of these things allow this show to grow and to bring you better content each and every episode. And don't forget, we're also on YouTube now. If you're just a listener, you can go watch the whole episode every week on YouTube as well. Comment, like, share, subscribe, do all that jazz. And thank you again to our sponsors, the Upper Lafayette Economic Development Foundation, plus today's title sponsor, Quality of Life Services. Cherish the past, redefine the present, get excited about your future. I'm Carter Simino. Until next time, stay funky, y'all.
This podcast is powered by the Acadiana Cast Network. Go to acadianacast.com for more South Louisiana sourced content.